one thing I'm working on, especially for 2025, is overcoming perfectionism and procrastination. Both of those are two different beasts, and maybe we'll talk about those in future episodes. But that's been something I've been working on. Is just overcoming the need for everything to be perfect instead of done is better than perfect. And there have been times when I've been doing schoolwork and I literally have to tell myself, done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. You know, I can sit here and work on this all day, all night, but I need to get it done. And I need to get it done more than I need it to be perfect. And that just helps me just keep plowing through it, keep plowing through it. And the next thing you know, I'm done sooner than I thought. And now I have time to go in and edit, do some revisions, fine tune it, tweak it a little bit so that it is good enough. You know, it is good enough. And I realize I have to be content with good enough. Because if I am only content with perfect, things will never get done. And sometimes that needs to be the mantra. Done is better than perfect. You can always go back, tweak, refine, clean up, tidy up, and make it better. But since starting things is so difficult and it's so hard to just get started, sometimes to get to the finish line, done is better. Just get it done. Get it done and then see how you feel. Because sometimes you can get it done and be like, wow, that's good enough. That's all I needed to do. I just need to just get this done. And I don't, it is how it is. But then after it's done, it's like, now you have better context to even understand, like, okay, now that it's done, now I see where I can improve it. But trying to do and perfect at the same time, you're never going to finish. And that's something that I myself have been working to overcome for a long time. I've realized, and I've really had to confront the fact that perfectionism really does hold me back. I think I can say that there are times when I reflect back and I know that my YouTube channels, my podcast would be further along if I wasn't such a perfectionist and I didn't lean into my perfectionist tendencies. Not that I am perfect, but I very much so have the habits of a perfectionist, to say the least, because we also want to refrain from labeling ourselves and making certain things, especially things that we want to change, part of our identity. And so that's also something that takes work. Is I'm not a perfectionist, but I do have perfectionist tendencies. Just I tend to act like a perfectionist sometimes, and I'm working on it. And trust that over time, as you get better at doing things, taking actions, you will get better. You will get more polished. You'll learn and you'll improve just with time. So let time do its work and you just focus on showing up and doing the thing. And you can still choose to be better despite all that you've gone through. You can make the choice to be better, do better, and prove to yourself that despite everything, you have become a person that you love and respect. Okay? You can make that choice. And that's why earlier in the podcast, I shouted out Layla Hormozi, because that's one person that I can say exemplifies that very concept, that despite what she's been through, despite her trauma, despite just everything she's gone through to get to this point, she still every day chooses to be better. She, really speaks to just taking action despite everything. And one of her sayings that sticks with me even till now is your mood, follow the plan, because sometimes that's all it is. You could feel like crap, but follow the plan, do what you need to do. There are times in my childhood where I remember like I felt like crap, I mean snotty mess, but I will say that I distinctly remember I was really, really sick. I wasn't, no, let me rephrase. I was under the weather. I had a cold. It was winter. And I had a cold and I had a test and I felt like crap, snotty mess. I didn't have a fever or anything, but when you're sick, you just feel terrible. So I felt like a snotty mess and I still went to school. I had a test to do and it was brutal. It was brutal. I mean, I felt like I could barely think straight. But luckily, I knew the material. So, I studied despite everything. And I got an A. I was like a 92 or a 94 on that test. And I was shocked because I'm like, I felt like crap and I still did well. Woo. And every now and again, I'll remember that. Like, I felt like crap. I took a test and I still succeeded. I still got an A. As we become adults, it's easier to say, well, I feel like crap. I'm not going to do it. And that's fine. But sometimes we need to step in and parent ourselves and be like, no, you may feel like crap, but you're still capable. You still have the ability to show up today. And so you're going to show up today. And sometimes we need to have that stern voice with ourselves. Sometimes our self-talk needs to be like, I know you feel like crap and we can take it easy today, but there are some things that we're just going to have to show up for. And that just is what it is. And we're not having any discussion about it. It's okay to, have a runny nose and still show up. It's okay. And even now, I like to listen to a lot of podcasts. And I can hear in the podcaster's voice, I'm like, oh, they're a little under the weather, but they're still showing up. They still showed up and had this podcast conversation. And here I am enjoying it because even though they were sick, they still showed up and recorded the podcast. And now I get to listen to it. Things like that really help, reframe and help you to keep moving forward.